up, guys, and welcome to another edition of the Market Marauder Show. Beat the market one trade at a time. If you're new to the Market Marauder Show, it's an investment channel, helps you to find the best deals in the market. If that's something you're interested in, make sure you hit that thumbs up. Definitely helps YouTube out and promote the videos. Alright, so today going over some early morning picks. So to all the people out there who are early birds like myself, going to be going over the list of some of the stocks that I think should be on everybody's watch list. So this is going to be some high volume picks from last week, as well as some that will have earnings this week. All right, so first on here we have ticker sign XELA. They are bearish. Moving average 10 is below 50 and 100, but they do look like they have a lot of potential because overall there's still a lot of volume that's coming around ticker sign XELA. So if you look at the volume charts for this one, there's always a lot of volume surrounding them. So definitely going to be looking at them for a potential early morning mover. They had a nice little ending to the week last week with a 16-cent increase, so 4.89% increase. So that was definitely nice. Target price that I'm going to have for this one is going to be this 398, moving average 50, and then the next one's going to be this $5.45 level. So definitely going to be looking to see how they perform. Lots of volume on this one, so a great one to enter and exit on trades. But make sure the volume is still high on this one when you do. VWAP is still significantly high above the moving average 10, so definitely a lot of positive momentum on that one. Next, we have ticker sign SXTC. They did have a week high of $2.28. Overall, looking bullish on this one. Moving average 10 is above 50 and 100. We can see VWAP is below moving average 10, so maybe some more sideways trading going on with this one. Overall, maybe some oscillation because the moving average 10 is right at VWAP. So we can see 228 being their week high. Going to be looking at a low of 189.87. So going to see if it can oscillate between those two levels. But overall, still bullish on the name. It did fall significantly after hours to $1.78, but that is still above the moving average 50. So that being above the 50 and 100, it didn't go all the way down to that level. So going to be seeing if it can bounce from that 178 to be bullish for the week. Next, with ticker sign AEHR. They are bullish. Moving average 10 is above 50 and 100. We could see VWAP is above moving average 10, so positive on both of those indicators. On here as well, we can see 380 was their high, so going to be looking at a target price for that as well. Target price that I'm going to have for this week is going to be $3.49 because that is where the current VWAP line is at. They ended the week at $3.30, so not too far from that. Going to be also looking to see how far they go down. They kind of had a small little bearish pattern starting to set up towards the end of the week. Going down to $3.30. So going to be looking to see how they perform overall, if they can bounce back from that level. Next, we have Wish, which is ticker sign WISH. They had a low of $9.16. They went down even lower to $9.02. Now, this is on one of the meme stocks on Reddit. So if you are familiar with what Wall Street Bets is, this was one of the stocks that was on there. But they're showing a large bearish pattern. Overall, definitely going to be seeing how this performs. Target price for this one is going to be $9.56 to see if they can go back up and test $9.56. So that's going to be my price target for the by the end of the week if they don't continue to fall. So going to be looking to see if they continue this bearish pattern when the market opens. Then it may continue to go further. But if they start to turn around, $9.56 is going to be my target price for Wish. Next, we have ticker sign VERB. They had a nice little movement last week, going up to $3.97 as a week high, and then fell down after that, going down to 292, and then ending the week at 283. So overall, still bullish on the name in general. 283 is the moving average 100, moving average 50, which is this yellow line. So essentially they ended at the moving average 50. Going to be seeing if they can bounce off of that and retest this 397 level. If not, the next level I'm going to look at is 243. So going to be seeing how they perform when the market opens. Pre-market, it seems like they're starting to go down a little bit, going down to 282. So it may be some more continuous following of the price. So the next price target going to be looking at is 243 on this one. Next, we have ticker sign ATOS. They are bearish. Moving average 10 is below 50 and 100. 714 was their week high for last week. We can see 562 and 582 are the moving average 50 and 100. So 562 is going to be my target price for them if they can continue this pattern upwards. But first, going to be seeing if they can break through this 432. So 432 seems to be where they bottomed out at. They did end at 429. So next going to be looking at 432, then 475, which is the VWAP current price, and then next level going to be 562. So those are going to be my three target prices for the week: 432, 475, and 562. And that's for ticker sign ATOS. Next, we have ticker sign SENS. They are bearish. They did shoot all the way up to $3.26, so that was a nice little level for them. Going to be seeing where they go since they did bottom out at 269 last week. They did, moving average 10 did cross 50, but it is not above the moving average 100, so I would say they still are bearish. VWAP is still significantly high on this one though, so going to be looking to see how it performs as the market opens. They did end at 291 and then went down to 282. But 307 is going to be the level that I'm going to be looking to see if they can test, because 307 is the moving average 100. So that's going to be my target price for them, $3.07, to see if they can go through that. Now, jumping into some ones that have earnings this week. First, we have Tractor Supply, which I think has the earnings today. They had a week high of $1.92. $192.75. Sorry, I misread that one. They are bullish. Moving average 10 is above 50 and 100. But they did end at 188.80. So that's where they're currently at pre-market. Going to be looking to see if they can retest this level right here of 192.75, since they do have earnings coming up. In my personal just experience, I think Tractor Supply has done pretty well overall. I think their earnings should be pretty good. During the pandemic, they were one of the stores that was open a lot. The one that's in the town that I live in, it's always open. So definitely, I think Tractor Supply is doing really good as far as income is concerned. So expecting them to beat earnings, in my personal opinion, and then we'll see where we go from there. But 192.75 being the target price that I have for Tractor Supply. So ticker sign TSCO. Next is ticker sign PPG. Now PPG is bearish. Moving average 10 is below 50 and 100. But they did have a week high of 172.51, so that's going to be my target price for them, 172.51. Now they do have earnings coming up as well, so going to be looking to see how they perform in their earnings. Definitely kind of 50-50 on PPG's earnings. Don't really know how it's going to affect it moving forward, and it's been a lot of oscillation going on with this name in general. So the chart to me is showing it that it wants to retest this 172.51, but overall, financial wise, we'll tell the difference on what this is going to do overall. So I'm going to keep a close eye on ticker sign PPG as time goes on. Next, we have ticker sign IBM. IBM is currently bearish. Moving average 10 is below 50 and 100. They did bottom out at 137.66, so they fell all the way down there like one day last week. But they do have earnings coming up as well, so going to be looking to see how they perform overall. Next target price I'm going to be looking at for them is going to be this 141.98. So that's kind of my target price to see if they can retest that 141.98 level after their earnings this week. Next up, we have ticker sign CMG, which is for Chipotle. Now, Chipotle has been doing well over time. They had a little promotional thing where they were giving away Bitcoin, which I thought was pretty cool, and definitely catered to their demographic. A lot of younger people shop at Chipotle. So, marketing wise, I think Chipotle has been doing really good, but there has been a work shortage. So, a lot of people are quitting jobs. And just collecting a lot of unemployment. So I think that's going to be affecting Chipotle's bottom line with their worker shortage. So if they can find a way to mitigate that worker shortage and just discuss their plan forward, doing that during their earnings, I think that the stock may potentially go back up. But if we see that numbers were hurt by their worker shortage going on, then I definitely think the price will probably drop from here. So it's kind of 50-50 on there for me for Chipotle. I think overall the company did benefit from the pandemic. They were one of the companies that was adamant about using DoorDash or some other Uber Eats or some other service to go and deliver their food. Um, they definitely were doing really well. A lot of people ate Chipotle during the pandemic, so business wise, they were doing really good for that quarter. But now, people are starting to go back out. It's reopening, but now they have a worker shortage. So the worker shortage portion is definitely critical because you need people to work. At your stores, or you're gonna have to start closing locations. So definitely going to be looking to see how that performs over time. But Chipotle is not in any areas that don't have people who are, I guess, semi-wealthy. So I don't think they would have a problem with a worker shortage per se. Just because of the way they place their stores. So, if you've seen Chipotle's, or at least the ones that I've seen, are in areas where there's a large population density and they have a high medium income. So we'll see on Chipotle. It's kind of 50-50 in my personal opinion. But if they don't have a way to mitigate their workers not coming in, like if they're not, starting to give worker incentives or anything like that, I know they said they were trying to recruit people from TikTok, which may be a good marketing ploy, but I don't know if it's going to be sufficient enough to get people to come into work. Um, this may potentially go to 1500 even, so that's going to be my bounce level. So I think it may fall to 1500, but if they do have a nice plan that they're going to do to enact people coming in, more incentives, you know, things of that nature, that I'm going to be looking at this 1594, which is the moving average 100. So between 1594 to 1500, that's going to be my target price. Next, we have Netflix. Now, Netflix has fallen significantly. They were at 557.54, so that was kind of their high. They fell all the way down to this 530.31, and then fell down even more to 529 even. So definitely going to be looking to see how they perform. 529 seems to be the place where they had this low at, but almost, back down to this 524.60 low. So we'll see how they perform. They do have earnings coming up as well. I feel like more people are at home watching Netflix, so a lot of their shows are being promoted on places like TikTok or uh, other apps, YouTube. I know people are talking about a lot of their shows that have come out, the more risque ones, but it still is promotion for Netflix in general. So, um, I think Netflix is still a good play long term because I think they have the best movie streaming service. I think it's better than, Apple TV and Disney Plus, but, it still has to be competitive. So just because I think it's the best one out there doesn't mean that I don't think it has to continue to be competitive. It seems like Netflix to me is starting to cater more towards an adult audience than, the I guess, middle-aged demographic. They're starting to cater more towards the millennial audience that I've seen, which is not bad. It's kind of the larger demographic out there, but I feel like if you don't address your outliers, which are, you know, preteen and older community, then you kind of lose a large portion to the other subscription services that are catering towards it. So, going to be interesting to see their path forward on how they're going to be able to expand their streaming services, as well as some new business things they're doing for the company overall. One key metric on Netflix as well is going to be user numbers. So I want to see if the amount of users is continuing to increase, or are they losing users over time. So another one with earnings is going to be J&J. They had a week high of 171.17. They ended at 166.96, so they are bearish. Moving average 10 is below 50 and 100. Next target price that I'll be looking at for them is going to be this 169.30, which is where the moving average 10 and 100 is currently at. So going to be looking to see how they perform as time goes on, and as it gets closer to earnings, will it rally to this 169.30 level, and even would it potentially retest this 171.17? Now J&J, as you know, is one of the vaccine companies, so I'm going to be looking to see how much they were able to distribute. I know they did have that recall kind of early in theirs, and then they started issuing it back out. But I want to see how that really affected their numbers overall, if they do talk about that, because I think is a pretty important metric to consider financially for the company. Overall, I think the company is probably doing well in general. The stock price definitely reflects that. But I think some key metrics people are going to be looking for is vaccine news and their path forward on that front. Next, we have ticker sign KO for Coca-Cola. They are bullish. Moving average 10 is above 50 and 100. They did end at 56.68. Looks like they are still going down in the pre-market. 55.95 is where they currently are at. So that is below the moving average 50. So definitely going to see if they continue to go down to this 55.14, which is the moving average 100. If not, then potentially bounce back up and retest 56.68. So that's for Coca-Cola, ticker sign KO. Next, we have LVS for Las Vegas Sands. Now, overall, I think a lot of people are starting to travel again. I think Las Vegas Sands are starting to be booked up. I think their resorts and things like that are starting to be booked up. More people going out, more people traveling. Um, you know, during the summer, people who are cooped up are starting to go back out. So I think Las Vegas Sands will definitely have a really good earnings, but I don't know if that is already priced in. From looking at the chart in general, they've been on a pretty large decline for some time. 60, uh, 82 is kind of their high. 44.08 was kind of their low. And then if we go on some more over to where the chart was currently at, 47.73, is kind of close to that 44 level. So I think it may potentially bounce back up from here if you get some positive numbers on that one. You said, what do I think about Neo? Let me go look at Neo's chart real quick. Let me pull them up. Neo hasn't really been in the news too much for me that I've seen, but I think overall the EV space is looking very healthy. They are kind of low at the current moment, 42.40. I think is pretty low, going down in pre-market to 41.40. But this is definitely one that has a lot of volume surrounding it, like every day. So I think they're probably due for another presentation. So if they do announce, some more stuff going on with the company, then I think it could help boost the stock price. But I would just in general potentially be cautious around Neo. 30.71 right here seems to be the low, so that potentially is where it could go. There are a lot of different speculations going on with the Chinese stocks out there, so I would just say be careful, be cautious with this one. There's not really much hype around Neo anymore, since you have, Ford and GM and all these U.S. manufacturers starting to make electric vehicles. So the hype of what NEO is doing really isn't going to um, help the stock price go up. So I would say, if you believe in the company, then it's a sound investment. But if you're looking for it, for intraday trading, to try to make a quick buck, it may not be the play for you. So that's kind of my synopsis on that. So next we have Tenderson LUV, and that is for Southwest. Now I think Southwest has been doing really good as well. Overall, looking bearish at Southwest, but I think just about everybody flies Southwest. So overall, numbers are going to be what's the determining factor for them during their earnings, which is going to be the number of flights they're having, the number of passengers, their procedures to handle the pandemic, their mask, you know, mandates and things like that, how they're considering, consumer safety, using their flights and things like that. Overall, I think those are all going to be things to look for that people are going to be looking for, how they're going to be tackling those issues. So they are falling down. They're at 48.82. So definitely going to be looking to see if they could turn around, maybe a potential buying opportunity in the future if they continue to fall down from this level. But I don't think that flights are going to stop for Southwest. I think it's just going to continue to go. I think people are going to continue to go get get flights from Southwest. So I don't think this is, overpriced at this level. Next, we have ticker sign ABT, which is for ABIT. Now they do have a week high of 120.24. They are bearish. Moving average 10 is below the 50 and 100. VWAP is below as well. But going to be seeing how they turn around over time. Now they are starting a little bullish upward trend, but kind of hit a resistance around 117.51, going back down to 116.68. So target price that I'm going to have for them is going to be 118.38, which is the moving average 100. They're going to be looking at 120.24. So they have earnings coming up as well. They were early into the testing phase, way back when President Trump was still president. I know ABIT Labs was one of the kind of pioneers of starting the whole pandemic testing and, testing kits and things like that. I wonder if they're still, leading the charge on that, or what's their path forward for potentially helping with testing. So, going to be looking to see those numbers and some path forward information for them on how they expect to expand business. Now that, it's not the complete hype of the pandemic that, we first saw them at. Because ABIT Labs, I really saw them kind of before the vaccine came out. So, they were kind of in the spotlight for doing the testing portion, but I haven't really heard much from them since then. Now this is Twitter. Twitter had a week high of 72.07. Um, Now they're at a low of 66.14, going down even further to 65.70. Now this is one of the social media stocks. A stopping point for them that I would say is probably around this $59, $58 level if they continue to this bullish downward trend. I think overall Twitter has been uh, very paramount in delivering information overall, but I like to see their user numbers. Uh, People who have been using Twitter overall, has their user number increased over time? Because if that's true, then there's going to be potential growth stock wise. But if people are leaving Twitter to go somewhere else, because they do have to compete with other services like TikTok now, which is social media essentially, will that affect Twitter's numbers? So the number of users is definitely something I would be looking at for Twitter moving forward. And last on the list is ticker sign INTC. This is for Intel. With the chip shortage going on, I don't expect Intel to be, you know, too high of a stock overall. 57.46 is their week high, so that's going to be my target price as well. I'm going to be looking to see if they can retest this 57.46, but not really expecting too much from them since we are in a chip shortage. So, for a chip manufacturer is the main way that they make their income and we're in a shortage, then I don't really suspect that to help their numbers overall. If they could give an update to people telling us, this is our path forward, this is what we're going to be doing, this is when we expect some of the products to be coming out. We're still developing, sub whatever chipset that's expected to be released, blah blah blah. Then I think that will give investors confidence of like, hey, they got a path forward, they got a strategic plan of what they're going to be doing. But if they come out and they say, there's still a chip shortage, we don't really know what's going on, we're trying to, mitigate that, then I think it may be potential, you know, continuing to go down on this bearish trend. Now, if you're a long-term investor, maybe a great time for you to jump in to buy for a long term because Intel's not really going anywhere as a company. But if you are intraday trading, may not be the play for you. Now, those are all the plays. Just bear in mind, I'm not a financial advisor. It's not financial advice. Just giving you some of the options that are out there. I hope everybody has a great week of trading. It's going to be an exciting one with earnings this week. So make sure you keep those earning plays on your watch list because it will be a lot of volatility surrounding those, which means you may be able to jump in and out, especially if you are doing options trading. Maybe some great little entries for you to really grow your account. Now, next week's going to be a lot more interesting because there's going to be a lot more earnings of bigger plays. So make sure you go check those out. I will be going over those as well. So good luck to everybody out there trading, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.